Hello, everybody. I cannot believe we're at the end of quarter one already. There's been a lot of activity across Europe relating to the joint venture and preparation for that, but we've also made terrific progress in other areas. And over the next few minutes or so, I'm just going to give you an overview of some of the highlights in each of the markets. So let's start in France, firstly with the SIS system, our sales system there. Lasad and the team have been working very closely with the business to understand the requirements around the pricing model and particularly profitability calculation. That's been developed and released, and Andy and Jeremy were lucky enough to see this when they were there for the country review a couple of weeks ago. And then we had a further presentation from Lasad for the senior leadership team, where a number of the senior management from around the group were able to see the good work that's been delivered into the system in France. Also within SIS, we've completed changes related to the hygiene quotation. And so both of those enhancements now fully up and running. We've implemented a social database, and this is a cloud-based solution working very closely with Beatrice and the HR team there. And from a travel expenses perspective, we're now live in 3 pilot sites, and this allows the data that's being captured relating to expenses to through the workflow, and then ultimately feeding that information into the finance system and delivering a number of efficiency benefits there. Within Atlas, this is where we produce our invoices. So both with legislation and also our view on simplifying the invoice, it's been a lot of work to really make it easier for the customer to understand the invoice. And we've been promoting a lot of this within the Espace Client system, particularly around e-billing as well, and I'll come on to that in a moment. The ICAPS 535 upgrade, so Vita's been working hard there to deliver this, and that's been completed, and we've now got the chargeable call-out functionality fully up and running. And then finally, Fabrice and his team, the Comex, have been driving now the adoption of e-billing across the business, and with that drive, we saw in February alone 5% of the customer base converted across to e-billing. So super progress here in France with Marc, Pascal and their respective teams. Into supply chain, so Andrew Goodsell has taken on the leadership of the supply chain now that Martin Robinson's moved into the Basel JV project. And one of the projects that Andrew's running is the Epicor 10.1 upgrade, and we're almost ready to go here. And if it goes through the gates in the next week or so, we will be able to then perform the upgrade over the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd of April. So that delivers a number of new enhancements into the business there. From a service availability perspective, the team have worked very hard to ensure that the systems are reliable, and we've seen that now coming through in the figures, and we've had 100% uptime, which makes a big difference when we're looking at supporting the OTIF and the challenges there. With BI, we've done a lot of work here, and this is preparing now a monthly KPI pack, and that's ready for deployment, and I'll talk a little bit about that during my next update. Logility, the application support, that's gone out to the Cognizant offshore team. And then web supplies, where we've been using a system over the last few years, an in-house developed system. We're now moving the e-commerce platform out to a third-party package provided by a company called Magento, and that will be applicable as well across other areas across the group. And then finally, with Navision Ireland, the interface to Epicor, the user acceptance testing has been completed there. So really good progress from Andrew and the team in the supply chain team. When it comes to Central and Eastern Europe, so with Rudiger and his team, have been working very hard to deploy the new Advantex platform across the businesses in CEE, and that's moving them all to the new Microsoft SQL Server version. The reason that we're doing that is because the old ADS platform was unsupported and starting to cause a number of problems on an intermittent basis, but that the same is we've really got to make sure that we have a really robust platform there, and that's been now achieved through the deployment of the new database with the Advantex smartphone. So that's fully rolled out across the region, and that's now taken out the old traditional PDA solution, and we're seeing some really good benefits coming through both in the real-time synchronization and the benefits to customer care of being able to see the activities real time. Within the headquarters in Cologne, so a number of the meeting rooms have been refurbished, and we've provided complete Google Hangout capability there. And then we've got another business we don't talk a lot about is Clean Room. We've just established a new laundry in Dresden, and all of the IT setup has been completed there. Then we've had the further rollout of the Philo Cloud. So this is the SD-WAN technology. That's now, I think, Germany are probably leading the way here with 10 locations, and that's delivering better bandwidth at lower cost to the organization in Germany. Trak, so we do have certain customers, and this particular one, Cargill, requires us to have a PDA that complies to the ATEX law, and particularly around anti-explosion and being able to meet certain ISO standards. And so that's been deployed onto a new device, and there's been a lot of teamwork here between the UK team, the Cognizant Offshore, and Rudiger's team as well. We've completed the acquisition of Antisect in Zurich, so they're now fully integrated onto our systems. And finally, on the Basel project, Rudiger and his team have been focusing a lot on working with Martin and Adrian and the Benelux team around day one activities and the integration roadmap of the various businesses and the fast track countries. And I'll come back and talk about that a little bit later. Then into Spain with Enrique and his team. Super progress here with a number of projects either underway or being delivered. So the ICABS 535 UAT, that's underway, and that will also deliver the chargeable call-out functionality. Then we've got some new legislation come in, and we're around waste transfer, and this is a great example of teamwork and sharing best practice. And this was where Enrique sat down with Kevin Williams a few weeks ago in the UK, talked about the requirements. Kevin recognized these as something that he'd implemented in the UK, and as a result of that, we're now going to be implementing the same solution to support the waste transfer functionality. And that's likely to, it is European law, so we're likely to see that coming through in other markets as well. The My Initial project is underway, and that's very much linked to the Service Trak project for hygiene. And another great example here of sharing information, again, being led by Kevin and his team around the Service Trak product board and the CHOP capability that's needed in Asia, where the customer in a paper-based world would stamp the paperwork. That functionality has been replicated in Service Trak, and then also the Spanish team recognize this as a requirement that they have, just they don't call it the CHOP, and we're going to be deploying that same functionality across Spain, and that's going to remove a lot of manual admin that previously we weren't aware of. With My Quotes on the pest side, that's now going into the business on and the training's underway there. On hygiene, fully deployed, really getting some great information and results coming through now, a visibility of profitability, the margin, and really making salespeople think about gross margin rather than commission as they may have been previously wired to do so. Legionella, it's the business processes here have been migrated to the Voxetel telephony system, and a couple of projects where we're going to be saving as a result of new contracts. We've got the VoIP, moving that out to the cloud. That's going to deliver just short of 40,000 euro savings a year. And then on the unified comms project, we'll be looking to save touching nearly 300,000 over the next 3 years. And this is another example of where we're really looking to drive down OPEX and wherever we can with contract renewal. Into Portugal with Paulo and his team, we've deployed Wi-Fi now across all locations, and I think I'm right in saying that we're almost completely covered, or got complete coverage in Europe now in all of the locations with Wi-Fi. We've deployed some new VPN technology, again a standard GIS solution. The My Initial project's underway. We've got a new logic monitor solution in for monitoring the applications. Some new technology has been within ICABS around disputed invoices and the link through to OnGuard. That's been kicked off, and we're starting to do the testing. And then finally with Service Trak Hygiene, we really led the way with that project in Portugal, and all of the preparatory steps have been completed, and we've now rolled that out into pilot users in Lisbon, and we're getting some great feedback from the drivers. And I love seeing photographs like this as a result of all the hard work from Stephen McLucky and all of the GIS colleagues that have supported this, working with Paolo and Rui. And we're really delivering a number of benefits with the service track app, particularly around how we manage entitlement. And this is where customers are entitled to a certain quantity of consumable product during the year. And you can see there the thumbs up from the guys around the application, and looking forward to seeing that in other markets. In the Benelux, with Adrian and his team, likewise the same with Rudiger and his team, been focusing a lot on the JV, but continue to deliver on other projects with service track and pest control, and Nancy's leading the way here. So we're just about coming to the end of the user acceptance testing, and then hopefully if we get the nod in the gate review next week, we'll be rolling this out, and this will be the first pest business in Europe to take service track. With My Rentokil, Jakob and the team have led the way with the adoption of My Rentokil over the years, and we've now deployed Sprint 12, and 13 is just about ready to go. They're also taking advantage of the iCabs to OnGuard interface, and that's going to go live at the end of April. And with Service Plus, and we're really starting to see some great results coming through from a number of markets now. And Jakob and Dio and the team really working hard on this project, and all the setup and the configuration around territory management and planning has been completed, and we're looking to pilot with 4 technicians in a couple of branches starting at the beginning of May. With Unique, we don't talk a lot about Ambius, or I don't talk a lot about Ambius, but we're replacing the STB system that supports the sales and purchasing processes with the Unique system that was deployed a couple of years now, I think, in North America, and Harry and his team now have got the latest sales tools there. And then finally with Speed Mapper, we're deploying across a few markets now some of the speed technology, and Nancy and the team have just completed all the test system, and we're looking to go out into UAT in the coming weeks. Then with Italy, again, they've completed Alex and the team there have completed their iCabs upgrade, so that delivers that same call out functionality. A couple of branch moves with Parma, and then the move that's coming out of there, and then the moving to a new location in Venice. The Vodafone mobile contract, that's been completed, the renewal there, and all the new smartphones have been deployed. With SD-WAN, again leveraging the benefits of higher bandwidth, lower cost, we've deployed that in Modena and Venice. With Service Track, so the third project in Europe, Southern Europe, the UAT is now complete, and we're ready to go into a pilot. So some exciting opportunities here, and I think this is going to give us some really big opportunities on other projects later on in the year in Italy. With My Quotes, this is a great example of Eleanor and the team working very closely as a management team, looking at sales process, looking at sales management process, pricing, the way that we deploy technology. And as a result of that, we've just got a couple of small local developments that are required, and then we'll be pushing ahead with the deployment of My Quotes Hygiene in Italy. And then also to complete the set here, we're also looking at the iCabs to OnGuard interface, and that's going to go live in May. Then just one very quick slide on the JV. I'm going to publish a more comprehensive update on the JV in the coming weeks, but I just wanted to give you a flavour for what's going on. Martin doing a super job as the IT program manager. Then we've been working very closely with the CWS BOCO team around mapping our systems to their processes, and we've provided them with very detailed information around that, so giving them full visibility of our world. We've also completed a comprehensive list of all the hardware and software licenses that we use, so just short of 200 there. And Martin and the team have been focusing over the last few weeks around the top 10 about what we're doing. Are we transferring it in totally, are we splitting the license, something like Ortec, or is it a license that we will keep and will remain within Rentokil Initial? Trisha's doing a super job around the TSA and working very closely with her to define the elements of the individual TSAs, definitions, the SLAs, and what it would need as a dependency for us to come off those particular TSAs. We've done a lot of work around the IT organization for the remaining RI businesses. So, and I've been working with the respective management teams this week on that. Martin set up all of the governance structure, and this is something then we'll repeat for future projects. And I think this will have some use outside of Europe as well if we have similar JV activities. And then finally, some of the work that Martin and the team have been doing, looking at the fast track countries. So these are Switzerland, Austria, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Sweden and Poland, and looking at how can we align the IT activities to meet the business priorities for the JV in the coming months. Also looking very hard then at the integration stream for Belgium, Holland and Germany. So what's the right system strategy for them to support the JV? Then looking very closely at the separation activities, and finally focusing on what does the IT look like for the Rentokil Initial businesses that are remaining in the markets. So super progress there, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in the coming weeks. So just in summary, hopefully you can see there we've made excellent progress across Europe in Q1 with all the JV activities and continuing to deploy really high quality projects across Europe. The Basel JV activities, they're going really well. We're working exceptionally well with the CWS BOCO team. They're a great team, and I'm really positive about the team and the capability there for the JV going forward. We've held quarterly IT review meetings in all of the markets. Really great engagement from all of the MDs and the respective teams there, having really good discussions and looking at the plans and the priorities going forward, and really start making sure we're aligning the IT strategy to the business priorities and the objectives there. Delighted with the teamwork across the IT teams, far more sharing of information, working closely together, particularly with Wilma and Ed and all the team from the GSD, fantastic support there. And we're working really hard as well to support the IT colleagues who will be transferring across into the JV. So with that, I will say thank you very much for all your hard work, and I really look forward to seeing a number of you as I travel around during Q2, where we're going to have a number of exciting projects as the joint venture starts to approach the completion date. So with that, thanks very much and speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.